There is a bit of a turn in the FI appetite. Now that the deal is signed and one more event out of the way, do you reckon that FIs which have largely fled India in 2025 could make a meaningful comeback, or is it difficult to call?
No, I'm very positive that the FIs will come back to India. It's just how India treats them, how India wants them. Unfortunately, we've not treated them well with the taxation changes and the changes on the holding structure that you need to diversify your stocks. You need to own 10, 20 stocks instead of 1 or 2 stocks. If somebody wants to own an HDFC Bank, why can't he own it? So that's a technical issue which I think so the government has noted on it. I believe some action will happen very soon. But where do you go? I think so. For me, this is the best India's golden decade, as I call it. That's what is happening to India today. Let's not worry about 1 quarter, 2 quarters, stocks will underperform or they'll go overvalued, but the long-term story is intact. Manufacturing, for the first time, we are seeing this kind of boom happening from the last 2-3 years and many more. My friend Mr. Gujral is here from Sirma. They're seeing this kind of growth which nobody can even think of. So I believe India is in the cusp of a change, and anybody who's long-term, maybe 3 to 5 years other than 1 year, should do very well. And FIs have nowhere else to go. So I'm very sure the money will come to India.
I was just thinking about the last point you made, Dharmesh, that we should treat FIIs well. Hopefully absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Well, India, only things happen when there's crisis. So we
True.
almost threw them out. This hopefully should happen.
Correct. We've quickly moved from that narrative that SIP and the domestic investor is enough, and we now realize we need a more well-rounded market. Now,
if I may just jump in,
sure.
I think we treat some FIs really well. There's somebody called Jane Street. Check out how much they've made reaching the rest of the world.
Well, sometimes you want to come in on that, Dharmesh. Please go for it. I think sometimes they get what they deserve.
Well, there are multiple amount of FIs, so we don't want the Jane Streets of the world. We want the other guys. But even what's wrong in what Jane Street's done? They just taken a market opportunity.
They love us.
Yeah, so.
Okay, no, just to come to taking the conversation ahead, and I want to bring it down to the average investor that's watching also, because we are streaming this right now across the NDTV platforms and we talk markets all day, but there's the average viewer over there whose SIP portfolio is looking bad, who is dabbling in individual stocks and is feeling dismayed and is wondering, yeah, gold hi le leta. So for them, Gurmeet, do you really echo what is being said here, that with everything that's happened in the last 8-10 days, the tide truly looks set to turn?
Yeah, so there are signs about it. So if you see, for example, the net inflows in emerging market funds have been over $20 billion. We lost out $4 billion. But last 3-4 days, there are net positive inflows. The AI trade is slightly softened. Commodities have slightly cooled. And if you see, the Dow Jones have outperformed NASDAQ. The S&P transportation index is doing better than the tech stocks. So a lot of it, while we keep saying tech, but there is a very big angle of brick, and as Neeraj says, pick and shovel story around AI. You need power grids, you need data centers, you need metals, and I think once that story starts coming out, something like India, which is a more traditional market, will start finding some allocation. That's my take. I think the disconnect, Tamanna, has been the real economy is not reflecting in corporate earnings. So what you see as a Goldilocks, which is high growth, low inflation, somehow the corporate earnings are not reflecting that.
Some would argue Q3 was much better than expected, especially in small and mid-size.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so for example, look at banks. Credit growth is back. Now, SBI at 47 lakh crore asset balance sheet is now guiding for 13 to 15% growth. Now, that's a big number. It's the highest ever PAT I have seen for any Indian bank in a quarter. So SBI will do 85,000 crore PAT. That's like $10 billion, right? So BFSI is showing that. And you see there is record FDI in BFSI. We've got $10 billion between RBL, Federal Bank, Shriram, right? And there's more lined up with IDBI, with, more banks. So I think wherever the earnings are coming back, I think the FIIs are coming. And then long-term money is coming. You'll see that in data center. I think wherever the earnings are weak is where we are seeing. So I think it's a bit of a churn. Maybe it should mean revert. Seeing early signs, but fingers crossed.
Pretty interesting.